Good afternoon and welcome to today's session of OMWA's On-the-Job Training Series. My name is Stephen Jondro, and as technical member of OMWA's board representing the city of Orillia, it is my pleasure to host today's OJT presentation. OMWA's On-the-Job Training sessions are presented by colleagues from our Water, Wastewater, and Stormwater Equipment and Technology Advisory Council. These WETAC members provide essential goods and services to the water cube sector in Ontario. Everyone viewing our live session today is automatically entered in a random draw for a door prize kindly provided by our WETAC members. The lucky winner will be notified by email following the session. Today's presentation is entitled Engineered to Order, ETO Systems. Your needs are unique, your solution should be tailored to meet them. Featuring facilitator Chris Montgomery, Regional Sales Manager at Flowpoint Environmental Systems. Chris has been involved in the water and wastewater industry since 1995, starting out as an OIT with the region of Durham. He has over 20 years of operations experience, including managing wastewater systems in Whistler, BC, Jasper, Alberta, and Port Hope, Ontario. In his present role at Flowpoint, he is focused on providing municipalities across Ontario with custom engineered to order solutions. Chris is an active industry volunteer, having recently joined OMWA's WETAC executive, and he is also serving his third year as director on the Ontario Pollution Control Equipment Association board. He was recently featured in the OPSEA Profiles section of the 2023 Equipment Association's issue of Influence magazine. Please feel free to raise questions during the presentation. Just use Zoom's question and answer function at the bottom of your screen, and I will relay them to Chris at the end of his presentation. Please welcome presenter Chris Montgomery.
Good morning, everyone, or I guess good afternoon at this point. Thank you so much for coming out and giving us this opportunity to talk to you about engineered to order approach to getting your projects taken care of. So the way to get started here, or the way I like to get started, is first just to let you know that my information is here on the screen if you did want to contact me afterwards. At the end of the presentation, my contact information will be there as well. So if you don't grab it right now, that's okay. It'll be available after. So to get started, first to give you some background, you heard a little bit about me already. Now it's an opportunity to let you know a little bit about the company if you're not familiar with Flowpoint. So Flowpoint is all across North America. Sorry about that. Is all across North America. We are currently situated with our head office just outside of Edmonton. We do have remote offices as well, like satellite offices like mine here in Ontario. So there is representation right here in Ontario. But as you can see on the map there, our installations are vast. They're all across North America with numerous ones right here in Ontario. So if you ever wanted to go out to a site to see a specific installation or a specific design site, there's lots in Ontario to choose from. So luckily, one of our clients has provided us a few shots. It actually does some presentations with us here is their experience. First of all, why is anybody doing this still? Why are we utilizing hydrants? Why are we utilizing infrastructure that's not designed for the purpose that we're using it for? All we're ending up doing is causing damage to it when there's an easy solution to get exactly what you want and get it to your site. So here's what they did. They switched over from that to a bulk water station that was specifically designed for their sites. They're in the process of getting 3 more in the next 2 years. Here was a big point they wanted to push out there to let people know about their experience, which was when they first planned an ETO type project, they had to use some estimates, some guessing, a lot of input from us, and their values came out to they thought they would get a return on their investment in 4.5 years. They ended up getting that same return on investment though, but in 13 months. So just to show you, there's a cost savings advantage as well when you're looking at an ETO approach in many situations. So what is our process? The ETO process can be addressed with numerous different types of projects. So again, if you're looking for water treatment process, you're looking for like a package system. If you're looking for an addition to your existing system and you don't want to have to undergo having to build another brick and mortar building, or if it's just the fact that you're going to be doing site prep, like you have to bring in infrastructure to accommodate a building, and you want to save time so you can have the building being built off site while all that site prep is being done. And then when the site prep is completed, the station is already there, ready to go. It just gets put on top and hooked up. So you can be doing that for water treatment, for booster, for lift stations, even chemical feed systems. And what you'll find a lot of currently in Ontario, all across, all the way from Carleton Place, all the way down to Windsor, you'll be finding our bulk water stations and our septic receiving stations. So I'm going to go into each one of those a little more as I continue on. If you do have questions, there is an opportunity at the end of the presentation for us to do some Q&A. So please make sure you put those in the chat or whatever the methodology is for this presentation. So our process, we customize. That's the beauty. So there's none of this. We have 5 sitting on in a storage site somewhere, and when you call, you say we'd like our package plant or we'd like our bulk water system, and we say we'll ship it out tomorrow because this is all we provide. No, it's all the way from design. It even starts with first let's learn about your site, and then let's work towards putting design, a concept design, all the way through to shop drawings, to actual supply to site, to afterwards. So you get what you want, and you don't have to be limited to we can only provide you this. So again, here's the process: discovery, asking questions. Then we go into the concept stage, finally put together a package once we have clarified everything you want, everything you don't want, footprint, all the different changes that might happen to a site to accommodate what you need and what you want. We build it, we ship it to you, and then of course it's installed on site. And then Flowpoint offers support, service, and the software. We do it all. It's all being done by our company, not third party. So again, you have that one point of accountability for everything. So here's our first question. And remember, there is a prize to a person at the end. So question 1, what benefit will you get from an ETO system that you may not get from a cookie cutter system? First one is get exactly the equipment you want, get exactly the functionality you want, and get it sized for the footprint that you have. Number 2, having one warranty that covers everything, and the ability to have a company that provides you up to 5-year warranty. Have only one point of accountability for your design, the manufacturing, the software, the service, everything done by one company. Or is the right answer all of the above? See that it's up. Oh, waiting for results. Okay, well, most people got the answer of all the above. I mean, not to say that the other ones aren't correct, because those answers are correct as well. The most correct answer for this is number 4. You get all of these things in an ETO system that you don't typically see that in a cookie cutter system. I have, in all my years in the industry, I can't remember someone offering me a 5-year warranty. So here's what you'd see if you went to our website. You would see that we provide this same type of approach to all of our systems. And again, bulk water, water treatment, booster, septage, custom systems. If you have something you want built and you think it'd be best to get it pre-built, pre-factory tested, shipped to your site, ready to go, give us a call. That's the whole beauty of us doing our in-house engineering, our in-house designing. We do a lot of one-off custom jobs as well. That's where we go. We do, if you are looking at ETO, what you're looking for is, does a company provide you with the design, the project management, the engineering, everything from start to finish? Because You could have a company that works with other companies, and that way you have some third-party involvement. That does exist in the industry. In this case, my presentation is based on our company, where we do all of it. So as we mentioned, there's the design work, design drawings, shop drawings, and these all get tailored and custom. This is an example of a dual station that's currently being used by the Durham region. So where do we start? First off, we have our truck panels. These are our control systems, all built in our own factory, software provided by us. It can be added and retrofitted. That's one way we do work, is we can retrofit to an existing building. It gives you that upgrade, and isn't that what we're all talking about? How do I take equipment either I don't have and I need, or how do we take an older system and give it additional functionality by our retrofit? And that's where it starts. We can start simply with upgrading your controls, upgrading your software, and then maybe phase 2 or down the road, we look at helping with updating the station itself. Our panels have many options themselves. Again, engineered, keyless, cardless, no fobs, no keys. However, they can be provided if that's the preferred system. We can provide, point of sale devices, printers. You can even still put money in if you still want a money acceptor. I know a lot of our clients are going away from money and going away from printers because everything's digital with our software. So with that, as I mentioned, comes software. So that helps you reduce administration costs. That's another way to engineer. The software is changeable. It's not, here's our software, you got to use it. You might be looking at software being engineered as well. We would like it to look like this. We would like this kind of control. We would like e-commerce. We would like prepaid versus having to chase people for billing. All of that can be configured. What do you want the screens at your station to say when a hauler first opens the door? All of that can be tailor-made. So again, from each step down, tailored, tailored, tailored. Here's an example right here of what one of those screens could look like. Your reporting, your invoicing, again, customizable. So the turnkey station. So we've gone from the panel, here's that same panel, but installed inside the building as it was done at the factory versus it being added to a new building on the exterior of the building. Pre-engineered, plug and play. So that when it gets delivered to the site, it's this. It gets put on top of the slab, hilty to the ground. Connections are connected for electrical and water, and you're up and running. Design. Interior will go through different designs. What infrastructure are you connecting to? And then, of course, this location might not be where you want it 5 years from now. This might be near a new subdivision that's being built. So you want the haulers not traveling all through town. You want them getting water right there and being able to meter it and being able to track it and being able to invoice for it or get paid for it. But 3 years from now, you can unhilty this, lift it up and put it on a slab at a different site at a different location if possible. Well, if desired, I meant. So you can start with an honor system if you have that right now. Upgrade to this. That's what we're talking about. Getting something that operators can walk straight into. It's heated. It's got lighting inside it. So when they're operating at 2 o'clock in the morning in the middle of February, they're not having to stand out in the wind, in the cold, and the wet. They get to go in here and do their operations, do their maintenance. And then they can lock it up when they leave, right? It's also got all those safety features, exterior lights, the whole bit. Here's a few slides that just show you different customized systems. This is actually a station up in the Northwest Territories. So they're designed for our climate as well, right? Considered, we build in Canada, we design for Canada. Different size, different peak of roof. That way, if you want more headspace in there or you want an overhead fill like this, lots of different options, lots of different designs. We do have some standard components that we recommend. That's 3-inch stainless steel or 2-inch stainless steel, depending on the size of the system. We can do bigger pipe than that as well. certain meters, but they all come with backflow prevention, open and closing valves that are designed so that you don't get water hammer in your station, different types of way to communicate. You can use Ethernet, you can use cellular communication, radio communication. All these things are available, but we make sure there's communication. We make sure there's backflow prevention. We make sure there's metering. We make sure all these controls are in place for your backflow. Sorry, for your bulk water supply. Designing again, rate of flow. How fast do you want these trucks to be able to fill? How quickly, how much demand do you have? Do you have need for multiple trucks to fill at the exact same time simultaneously? All these things are considered. Your site consideration, do you want it to be fully portable? Do you want it to be seasonal? So we put a solar panel on it and we can put a tank back here that's propane for heat. And that way you don't have to worry about your site prep having connections because it's fully portable. We have a customer, I'll stay away from mentioning towns and stuff, but we do have customers that are currently utilizing this type of product right here in Ontario. So if you do want to see it, just let me know. Portable response, having it trailer mounted. Do you want to, what does your site look like? We will work with you depending on how that site configuration is to make sure we're providing you the right station for that site layout. We can do PLC communication or SCADA integration. We are integrators as well. That's not just for our panels. That's not just for our small stations. We also have our MBBR systems. I already mentioned most of these. The one thing I didn't mention is also, which is becoming very popular, is jug fill supply. This jug fill station can be put right in to the wall of the station, and that way people can come and get water. It can also be reduced pressure so that people can fill up smaller bottles like 500 millimeter bottles, especially if you're putting this close to like a baseball diamond or soccer field. So beyond bulk water, which you may already have or you may already know of right here in Ontario, we also have several stations throughout Ontario and of course North America for septic receiving and pumping stations. Here's a design for one of the stations we currently have right here in Ontario, dual assembly connection. This is a separate compartmented room because this room here that actually has the screening and the bin for collecting the waste debris that's being removed from the wastewater when it's discharged in here and the samplers are doing their sampling. This has a different classification than here. That way operators can come into here without having to worry about it being a hazardous environment. And then we have special controls and procedures for when they want to go into here that we work with whatever procedures you currently have for your region or your township. Here's another design, same sort of concept, smaller entrance, a different type of equipment. Because again, being totally customizable and engineered to order doesn't mean we only will supply one type of equipment. That's something to think about when you're looking for your systems and who you want to work with is, do they only provide one type of equipment? Because if your region only uses certain valves, you want to make sure that this system has those valves as well, so that you're only stocking one set of spare parts, or so that everyone's already familiar with the operations and maintenance of it, and we'll work with you on that. Do we have parts that we recommend? Absolutely. But we usually recommend not just this is the equipment that we find works best, it's this is the equipment we find works best with the conditions you've identified for us, right? Specific to your site, specific to your needs. So now we're ready for question number 2. What aspect of an engineered to order bulk water system, septic receiving system, or pump station cannot be customized? So again, what part cannot be customized? That the client and or the consultant can be involved in every stage of the project from discovery to project completion. That the software functionality, software agreements, and software service levels can be customized. The supplied equipment, the features, and the station configuration, can it be customized? Applied to be upgraded, ability is what I meant, ability to be upgraded and added onto in the future. that determine the scope of the performance service contract after the station is commissioned. So yes, can the contract and the service and the support after you receive your station, can that be customized? Or the last possible answer. Now, this is a bad question, as all aspects can be customized. And here we are. So just so we can add some clarification, because again, some of the points in here I didn't actually review earlier on the presentation. It's an opportunity to bring forward some questions as well. So the correct answer was number 6. Now, I can definitely understand why you might have said 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. The only ones that also got answers were 1, 2, and 5, because again, I'm tailored this specific to my experience with Flowpoint. Other companies that maybe offer engineered to design or engineered to order type systems, maybe your experience has been that no, you weren't involved in every stage, or you couldn't have your consultant involved in every stage. Maybe it is that your system can't be modularly updated or increased later, or lastly, a term or scope of contract, because a lot of my experience as a manager was a lot of companies will supply equipment. Not every company supplies after service for preventative maintenance, repairs, performance optimization. I work for Flowpoint. Flowpoint does all those things and offers all those things. So the answer in this situation would have been number 6. Next, we'll touch on, again, there's a lot of room for questions at the end. That was my preference here, was not to overwhelm with technical information, but to allow you to bring forward any technical information or any questions you may have, and we can address them specifically. So here's an example of a water treatment plant. This is, again, membrane filtration system that's being used, and this is a system that's being used north of Ontario. Again, you can see we have storage capacity for water, chemical addition systems. Again, everything you would need to be able to fully treat water. Here's a system that's recently just been shipped out of our factory floor, another design. Again, you can see the customization. This is before we put all the buildings surrounding, so you can see the complexity of the works that is done, that we are capable of, that our engineering team has worked with the client's consultants to make sure they're being supplied exactly what they want and in this size. So question 3. What is not an advantage of having a turnkey supplied system? 1, that you would get shorter overall project time frame, as the station is being built, ready for startup at the same time as the site prep works are being done. 2, you must overcome limitations because the station is a 10-year-old carbon copy design of a station built for a different site. 3, lower overall project costs. Without multiple contractors and multiple equipment suppliers bidding up costs of parts and labor to one general contractor. Or 4, the project can be done without or in conjunction with a consultant. So again, the question is, which one of these is not an advantage that you get from having an engineered to order turnkey supplied system? All right, the majority of people got it correct, that when you get a turnkey supplied system, you don't have to overcome limitations because it's been designed and built specifically to your needs for specifically what you wanted, and you had input along every part of that chain of conversation. So what you're getting is exactly was designed for what you wanted it to achieve. So there's no limitations to have to overcome. For those persons, again, I don't know your experience with maybe other companies or where you may have come from some of the information, because again, some of this information I didn't provide. It was trying to get these responses. So there's typically a shorter time frame for a project that's turnkey versus brick and mortar. Because again, brick and mortar, you got to do all the site prep, get everything ready, and then you start building the building, having all the subcontractors do their coordination work to get that station built up and running after all the site work has been done, or at the same time to a certain degree, and then you have to coordinate those works. Where with a turnkey system, everything is built off-site in the factory. It's all put together. It's all performance tested. It's factory tested. And then when it's all ready for operation, it's then shipped to the site. The site work's all done. It's just put in place, turned on, and it's ready to go. That's where you get shorter time frame for work, which obviously has its benefits. Overall project costs, same thing. Multiple contractors, multiple workers, all that has administrative costs. It has project costs, delay costs and delays if there's issues, especially if there's any liability conversations because this thing didn't work with this thing. Turnkey, one station provided by one supplier, even though the parts in there aren't built sometimes by us, like a backflow preventer that's been supplied because you said you preferred, this style, this manufacturer's backflow preventer, but all the warranty is by us, one company. So that saves some project costs. And again, in conjunction, yes, we can work directly with the owner of the station if they don't want to have a consultant involved, because we do engineering, project management, the whole 9 yards. But if a consultant is also the way you tend to go with project, or based on the size of the project, it makes sense to bring in a third consultant to assist, we work that way too. So MBBR, moving bed biofilm reactor. So this is a treatment system that we provide, again, as a package system. It's engineered to order. So we look at the size, we look at what you want to treat. We look at all the factors that are involved, and then we are able to provide this advanced technology that has lots and lots of advantages over some of the other treatment processes, specifically when we're looking at certain size models. This has a very small footprint, which is very helpful, especially if you have an existing plant and you don't have a lot of expansion room based on being landlocked. And again, if you're looking for a new site, a green site, the fact that these can be put underground and have no odor come from them, that's also an advantage to these systems that you can't do with a lot of other treatment processes. So we improved our nitrification and denitrification in our tanks. This is also a lot of the good rationale. Again, I have some other people from Flowpoint here. So if you do have questions with this, I'm going to have some others answer. One, I have an understanding of this system, but they are our experts. We have specialists on our team specifically for different product lines to ensure that we are able to provide the best information and the best advice we can. So there are different medias that can be used. The different medias, of course, provide different amounts of surface area. That more surface area provides us a lot of different advantages. And the fact that we can tailor what is the right media to be used for your application. In our situation, as you can see going down the line, we have our chip type, which provides the best surface area, and thus you're going to get a lot more treatment in a much smaller space. That is the evolution of the media. It's a simple process. Just because these are complex systems in terms of the fact that they are doing full treatment versus, let's say, just distributing bulk water, the process is still the same. We look at the process flow design, we look at the needs of the site, you look at the site footprint that's available, production of schematics and drawings, discussions, production, supply, install, ready to roll. Can these be provided different ways? Absolutely. They can be outdoor, but inside the ground, as I mentioned, so that once the earth is brought back in and covered up, all you're going to see is that top plate. So above ground, indoor. So again, more access to the building, more access to the equipment, depending on the complexity of the system and the size of the system. Modularly, you can have up to 8 of these put together. So again, expandability. Outdoor. And here are our advantages. The competitive advantages of MBBR treatment process that's engineered to order. They're robust. These treatment processes are not new technology. They're very current technology. They're advanced technology, but they've stood up. We know what to expect from these systems because they've been around for a number of years, and they're already working and providing us all this data that explains to how well these systems work. They go in a small footprint, very quiet, and no odor. So this turnkey solution, again, gives us those same advantages I mentioned earlier, where a site can be being built. You might be putting it in ground. So while they're removing the earth and bringing in piping that's going to be used for this, the station can be being built at the same time, so that when all that work is done, the station is just sitting there ready to be put in the ground, hooked up, and ready to roll, versus doing all that work and then starting construction. One of the key things that was brought to my attention on this, because I love understanding what's going on from the perspective of the operators who have to take care of these systems and work with them every single day. These treatment processes have a low requirement. And when I say a low requirement, I mean your license levels. So you're looking at operators with like level 2 licenses are usually the highest level license that's required to operate one of these systems. So there's a lot of advantages to that, as well as the fact that operators can get a lot of sophisticated training by learning how to run these MBBR plants. There's very low maintenance requirements on them, and they're completely customizable. So, question 4. What is the most important statement of these 4 statements? Statement 1. The MBBR treatment system is proven technology that can be custom engineered, supplied as a turnkey station, produces no odor, and offers both capital and operating cost savings. That's our first option. Number 2. Is an engineered to order bulk water system stations have a return on investment that results in the station pays for itself, and it generates significant profits during its useful life. Or maybe this statement's more important. Septic receiving stations can be located at your wastewater treatment plant or off-site. By having it off-site, that allows for the wastewater to be diluted as it travels through the collection system. It then also reduces the truck traffic at the plant, provides for 24/7 service to the community, and even more advantages than that. Or is this statement more important? The Toronto Maple Leafs will win the Stanley Cup this year. Well, I know my audience. I had a feeling we were going to see number 4 have a big number, but I'm very glad to see that a lot of other people picked up also on number 1 being quite important. The beauty of this question is all 4 answers are correct. It's personal to you. So for all of you Leaf fans out there, let's see the past results no longer be the future results. Let's see the cup come home. And for everyone else, I'm very glad today that everybody came out. I have, again, provided a lot of time at our end for questions and answers. As you probably noticed in my questions, a lot of the questions I brought up weren't even ones I really talked about on. And if you want to know more about those questions, this is an opportunity to bring those forward as well. So I'd like to thank, because I didn't do it at the very beginning, the OMWA for the opportunity for us to provide this on-the-job training. I am a huge supporter of the on-the-job training due to the fact that I know from experience how hard it can be for operators and for managers to find training for the operators. And this is such a great outlet and an opportunity for us to bring forward information like this, which is providing options where it's not, you can only buy this, or because you've always done brick and mortar, you got to do brick and mortar, or I've got to buy this just the way it's built because it's the only option. To understand that there's lots of options, and a lot of times there's a cost savings and a time savings to going to engineered to order. So again, thank you so much, and I look forward to your questions.
Thanks, Chris. Excellent session. I do see that we have received some questions, so I'll just send those over if you want to stay on camera here. So the first question we have is your control panel CSA approved?
Yeah, yes. We actually have a CSA panel shop within our shop.
Terrific. The next question is, do you have installations in Canada? It doesn't say for which element you covered today that was. So maybe if you can just discuss, because again, we did see that you have installations in Canada on your map at the beginning, but if you could maybe give us a little bit of an idea of where some of these things are located that you talked about today in Canada.
Chris, you want to answer for the dispensing stations, the water, and then the MBBR stations? We actually have a few in Alberta and a few in the Winnipeg area. Yeah, actually, there's a golf course near me that's actually got one.
Terrific.
Yeah, I can add to that. So, and just so everyone knows, yes, there are a few members, as I mentioned before, from Flowpoint that have come on today to participate to make sure we're giving you, that we can give you the best answers we have available for you. And that sometimes means other people in the company are more knowledgeable on a certain topic than I am. So they're here today. For finding these stations, yes, all the way from Carleton Place, which is just outside of Ottawa, all the way out to Windsor. I'm thinking, how far north are we right now? I know we have one as far as right now is Aurelia area. There are bulk water stations and septic receiving stations that were engineered, built, designed, and supplied by Flowpoint all across Ontario right now. So I hope that answers the question you were looking for.
Terrific, thank you. The next question is related. What climate conditions is it made for? Again, it doesn't specify which item, but I'm guessing from your answers that it applies to most of the climate conditions we experience here in Canada. But if you want to expound on that a little bit.
Sure. All the systems that we actually manufacture are to be used in Canada. So everywhere from Fort McMurray, Tuktoyaktuk, down to Ontario, right? So everything's freeze protected, heat trace if necessary, climate controlled if it's actually building.
Yes, and for if the building enclosed MBBR station, there's been situations where it's been designed up to being rated for like negative 50 degrees Celsius. I like to always stay on the conservative side when talking about our stations, which is our bulk water, our septic receiving that we've been supplying throughout Ontario are rated for minus 40 degrees Celsius. So that's the panels that are custom made and insulated, so the paneling alone. And then of course we add into their heaters and other aspects to ensure that, yes, have we built for Canada? Absolutely.
Terrific, thanks for your answers. So the next question we have here is, what kind of facility and operator classification does the MBBR process fall under?
It's a class 2. I think that's what you called it in Ontario, Chris, correct? Yeah.
So that's class 2 for Ontario, which is probably where the interest comes from here.
That's correct, yes.
Can you comment on what the MBBR equipment life expectancy is?
The media itself is greater than 25 years. This just to give you a little bit of background. So the media actually never gets consumed. It's actually just a substrate for bacteria to grow on. So that's what so nothing actually happens there. Things like blowers and pumps and stuff like that last for 10 to 15 years, right? So motors wear out basically, and routine maintenance on those items. But as for the media and the tanks, it's plus 25 years.
So there's not really a need to ever change that media out in a reasonable time frame for the plant.
No, the only in a severe upset condition, let's say you left it stagnant, you didn't have any flow through, and you just let the stuff grow and everything plugged off, then that's just a flushing situation. You're not actually changing the media. The media is still good. You're just actually just removing the excess solids.
Okay, so the next question was, what is the media life expectancy? So I think you've just addressed that.
Yeah, plus 25, yeah.
And another question was if the media requires replacement, which we've just covered. So the next question I have is, can the MBBR equipment be installed and completed in phases?
Yeah, everything's modular, like we said. If you want like sludge treatment systems and stuff like that, depending on what your specifications are, we could customize it for you. Chemical addition, if we have to add a little bit of methanol for denitrification, that sort of stuff, that's available. We make chemical injection systems. So depending on what parameters you're looking to actually improve on or take care of, we could customize it for that situation.
Terrific. Allows you to be flexible
just to add there too, that also does include being able to provide customized headworks prior to the MBBR if necessary as well. So again, we do provide the full package plant concept, which can all be modular, or you can buy the one system now and then down the road you realize, oh, we actually, we've had a change in the industry around us or the residential around us. We're seeing more screenings. We need to add a headworks. Of course, then we add that modular section on later and we customize that.
Yeah, I mean, we could add just the MBBR system to a existing lagoon system to take extra load off of that system as well. So there's, depending on what you need, we can actually figure out how to go about it.
Engineered to order, right? I have another question here, which is, what is the largest configuration for MBBR units?
Right now, the largest is about 8,000 cubic meters a day, which is 8 trains in parallel, or 2.1 million gallons per day, if you still go by that imperial thing.
So that's the largest one in service now, then?
I believe so.
Wow. Is there an upper limit that you guys have for future installations?
I think just because of the size of our company, I think that's probably about it.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. I know at one point there was discussion about 4 MGD, and there was a consultant in Ontario that came and asked me the question of, do you really see it getting to 4 MGD? And we actually went back and re-looked at our hope to get to that size and realized that would probably be a point where financially other treatment processes may be actually more economical for someone. So could we maybe have got to that sizing? Probably. Is there any reason to go towards that sizing if other technologies are going to be more cost effective for the owner? So no, we're not going, we're currently not looking to chase up to that size. And that's where I think the last conversation was up to about 3 MGD or maybe a little bit bigger than that. But again, it's looking at the specific site to see whether or not that's even a cost effective approach for the owner.
So is there a sweet spot where this technology really fits well, or is it, I mean, there's probably a smallest size that's practical as well. I'm just Not sure if you do have that answer.
Well, not really. I mean, I don't have a cost per day operation kind of thing, but I would say the golf courses probably are the best example of that. So maybe like a couple of hundred people per day kind of thing, usage, flow rate at 100 gallons per day, that sort of thing. I haven't, I can't do I can do the calculation right now, but I won't. But basically, that's where we're at. I mean, those systems, because it's low maintenance, you can get the greenskeeper guy to just walk by to see if it's actually smelling or not. Yeah, it's pretty easy to operate, basically. Yeah. But as for the bigger size, yeah, like up to like four in parallel, probably would be a fairly big size. So 4,000 cubic meters per day kind of sizing. Meat processing plant just outside of Calgary here has got one, and I think they're around that area.
So a good
Perfect.
point that
Thank
you
you
brought
for
up
the
there,
information.
sorry, a good point that you brought up there, which was actually the idea that someone within the company who's not operating the system can also be helpful in terms of their walking by the plant. Because if if they're in the right set and they're operating in the way they're supposed to be operating, there'll be no odor. So the fact of this system is really good and easy to be checked, because if someone is to smell an odor, that's an indicator that there's an adjustment that has to be made in the process, right? So again, that's part of the advantage of systems like this is when they are being operated as per the design, you can also put it in an area that has residential because there's no odor to it. You know, to a certain degree, they won't even know it's there.
Terrific. Well, thank you for all that information. That's all the questions that I have that were posted. If there's further questions, I'm sure you can contact Chris and his team. The information is up there for the contact, but if you're interested in any other information, please contact them directly. Could you just move to the final slide here? So anyone who was not able to attend today's session live can register for an on-demand recorded version of today's event that will be available for the next 2 weeks. You can register for the recorded session by going to the link under the events tab on the OMWA website. Once you register, you will receive an email from admin@omwa.org with your passcode. Registration is opening soon for our next OJT offering on Thursday, November 16th at 2 p.m. And that is titled Bits, Bytes, and Issues in Field Sampling and Field Quality Control. It features facilitator Brenda McClay from Near North Laboratories, Inc. So look for those details and registration information. That'll be coming soon. Also, watch out for information, details, and registration for part 1 of our 2-part webinar series in collaboration with CEC Analytics, hosted by Ed Houghton and featuring presenter Paul Westland from CEC Analytics. Save November 24th at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. as the date for part 1. We're also finalizing the details for part 2, so look for those announcements early in 2024. As usual, we will be sending a survey email to everyone who registered today right as we sign off. Please take a moment to give us your feedback and suggestions for future OJT topics of interest. Your input is important to us at OMWA. As always, for all the latest OMWA news and events information, follow us on X and LinkedIn. Check us out on Facebook, visit our website, or watch for our email notices. Thanks again to Flowpoint Systems and presenter Chris, as well as the rest of his team and the rest of our team here at OMWA for making these OJT sessions available. On behalf of us at WeTech and OMWA, thanks to all of you for providing your essential water-cubed services. We really do appreciate the important work that you do every day. Looking forward to seeing all of you back in 2 weeks. So bye for now.